Hey. A lot of times what people identify as trust issues aren't what we think they are. We think that trust issues means that there's something wrong with us for not being able to trust others. But the only trust issue you can really have is trust within yourself. So, what we might think are trust issues is our body correctly identifying when someone isn't trustworthy. And we aren't able to trust ourselves that we are correctly identifying it. We hold this belief that there's something wrong with our body's biological threat detection. We hold illusions within our perception that prevent us from fully accepting the truth of a person or a situation in our perception of a person. This is because at some point in time, you had a person in your life who was threatening, unsafe, and untrustworthy. But in order to survive that person, you had to create an illusion in your mind to help you cope living with a person who wasn't trustworthy. You began to see them in this lens of illusion, not seeing them for who they really were, because the truth of their energy and how they treated you and who they were conflicted with your ability to survive. Your emotional state has much to do with your survival in your younger years. So at some point in time, you could not accept that someone in your life was untrustworthy. So you created an illusion that you couldn't trust yourself, that they're not untrustworthy, you are. This is perpetuated by people who gaslight you. Narcissists feel entitled to your trust. They believe that no matter what they do, you should trust them. You should treat them in alignment with their fantasy version of themselves. They have their own illusions of who they are. And they believe that you should constantly mirror and validate those illusions. And this dynamic of mirroring and validation is what creates trust issues in people. It creates a dysfunctional way of being that makes it so that you no longer are observing people and gathering information to correctly identify if they're trustworthy or not. Your body begins to have this baseline state of don't trust anyone, treat everyone in one particular way. To the narcissist, the only way to be safe is to mirror and validate their reality, their illusions, to be exactly who they want you to be, and validate that they are who they think they are. And so what happens is we come into this kind of chameleon-like way of living where whenever we meet people, we begin to mirror them. We act just like them. We aren't connected to our authentic sense of self because some people genuinely crash out when they come across authentic energy. And your body knows this. And your body cannot be authentic until it has every function back up and working in your body that you lost after experiencing narcissistic abuse. There are many functions that protect you. Trust is your ability to protect you. When you trust your read on someone, they can't trick you. When you're connected to your emotions, you know how people make you feel. When we disconnect from our emotions, when someone harms us, we don't feel it. So why would I get harmful people out of my life if they're not harming me, right? That's what happens when we suppress our emotions. It's dysfunctional. There's a lot of functions that narcissistic abuse targets so that you won't be your authentic self. If you're under the illusion that untrustworthy people are safe, kind, and normal, you have no motivation to protect yourselves from them. That illusion disconnects you from that motivation. Your suppression of your emotions disconnects you from that motivation, and your inability to trust your own perception of others. You were never untrustworthy. You never were. There's a point in time where you accepted the belief that you were, but you weren't. There's more layers of conditioning that come into this. Narcissistic parents who are controlling. Control doesn't always look direct. Narcissistic parents who are controlling, the way that they teach you about yourself, the way that they treat you, teaches you that you're untrustworthy. They may always be worried about your safety. Worry from an unhealthy place. And that teaches you, I shouldn't be able to trust that I can keep myself safe. I can't trust these other people to keep me safe. The way that they speak to you, when they tell you to do something, they aren't trusting that you'll do it. They believe they need to manipulate you and scare you into doing things. And all of these little indirect ways of treating you send you one energetic message: that you aren't trustworthy. You aren't capable of protecting yourself. You aren't capable of whatever it is, of basic tasks, basically, of simple things. They destroy your self, the self that is real and true. You are trustworthy. You are. You may experience thoughts, energies, and internal behaviors that aren't actually you. But when you let go of that is when you're allowed to be your authentic self. But you can't be authentic and trusting of yourself until you have all of your functions. Because narcissistic people need that mirror. It's a need. They need you to chameleon them. And there's a danger in that, right? When you mirror a narcissistic person, you are a narcissistic person for a moment. Isn't that interesting? So the more that you mirror them, the more you become like them. And that's that merging in the narcissistic consciousness. They merge you with them with threats, coercion. If you don't, they crash out. They really do. So your trust issues are within yourself. Do you trust you? What you think? There's all these reasons why you may not. And it's a process. It takes time. But underneath, at the core, you were never untrustworthy. You had all these energies telling you were. You may have had almost every single person in your life being untrustworthy. And it could be easier to believe I'm seeing things wrong than to recognize that maybe you're not seeing things wrong and you're with a group of people who are truly as you are seeing them. Misery loves company. Narcissists stick together because They need mirrors. Need. Not want. Like need. Like you need water, they need validation of their reality, their fantasies, who they think they are. And they need you to act like they're whoever they think they are, whoever they want to be. I hope this was helpful for you.